Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
Hey guys, welcome back. Another week here, Birds of a Feather here on A2D Radio, live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios, BMWofac.com. Also brought to you by Gibson Mayer LLC, your certified public accountant, GibsonMayer.com, StreamSmart.com, and we're going to get right into the Twitter poll question. That's me. That's me.
Way to go. Good
That's
start.
me. I am that guy.
Technical difficulties right off the bat.
Great start.
Twitter poll question brought to you by ScanzanoSports.com. Which weapon in the passing game for the Eagles is the biggest threat to opposing defenses? We have Zachary Ertz, Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar, or is there another option out there? So, guys, welcome back. I'm Chrome here with Chux. Back this week with us.
Gentlemen. 10-1.
10-1. Back this week with us. Contributor to NBC Sports Philly, Paulie Hudrick. Welcome back, Paul.
Thanks for having me again, man.
Yeah, man. It's another great week to be an Eagles fan, huh? I mean, there's going to be a lot we're going to go down and talk about. Obviously, some breaking news today with the Giants and the streak of 210 games ending for Eli.
Crazy stuff.
We're going to get into that into the second half. We're also going to talk Cowboys and another meltdown. But, you know, we want to get into this week. Huge game against the Bears. And it really panned out for us as far as, you know, you saw some guys break out this week. Nelson's been a little bit quiet as of late, and Aguilar had some really big catches this week. I mean, there's things to be concerned, and you know, one of the things we talked about over last week was brought up. You know, do we want to see at any point if they're going to have a little adversity? Well, we didn't get a loss, but there's a lot to work on, and that's what we want, right? So, I mean, we go through what we had 4 fumbles this week. I think Carson, the second half wasn't, the game plan wasn't as flowing as it was the first half. But what do you guys take away from it this week? Paul, why don't you kick us off?
I think they just took care of business. I think there was some sloppiness for sure. Like you mentioned, the fumbles. They had a bunch of penalties as well. Again, the offense at times wasn't as crisp as maybe it's been all season. I think in the second half, as you mentioned, there was a couple balls that Carson threw that I was a little bit. I think they even mentioned in the broadcast. He's a little loose with the football in the second half.
Yeah, there was a perfect description of the way the
right,
ball was being released.
Which is crazy because he's been so good with that lately. I also wonder if maybe he sensed things weren't moving, so he forced it a little bit. But I mean, overall, it's crazy to think that they had this kind of. They were sloppy, arguably their sloppiest game of the season, and they still destroyed the Bears. Who the Bears, I think, are a better team than their record would indicate. They're one of the best. They're one of the best rushing teams in the NFL. They got held to 6 yards. You take away Mitch Trubisky's carries, they got held to -6. So there's definitely plenty of positives to take out of it. I mean, and again, we're talking positives. They destroyed them, so that's a positive in and of itself.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think there's certainly I like that Doug had the attitude of there's still plenty for us to work on. We're not content. And I think that's a really great attitude to have.
No, I totally agree. Charles, what do you got?
If you know me, my number one pet peeve in football is fumbles. I hate fumbles. They drive me absolutely nuts. And that's a big proponent.
Fumbles and people saying Brian Westbrook's not the greatest Eagles.
Yes, that too.
Or Andy Reid not doing anything still.
But when it comes to fumbles, it drives me nuts. So right off the bat, I have to address that. The fumbles, was it 4 fumbles, 2 by Blunt? The one was like in the fourth quarter, like late in the game. I don't think that's anything too worrisome because was it on an exchange with Nick Foles?
Yeah.
I wouldn't put too much on that, but still, you got Ajayi fumbling the ball, you got Jenkins fumbling on that interception run back. So you got to clean that up, but thank God that they did it against a team like the Bears. And no offense to the Bears, because I think they're showing promise with the running game and with the quarterback. I've liked what I've seen in spots from Trubisky. He's still got a long way to go. I don't think that coaching staff is the right staff for him. I think they need a better coaches in there to help him develop.
Well, I mean, it shows.
So,
look at the Eagles when you have quarterback
Oh, yeah.
guys
Exactly.
coaching a quarterback.
Exactly.
A quarterback makes a
Exactly.
world of difference.
I think the perfect example is the Rams. Look at Jared Goff now,
Yes.
some with McVay.
Yeah.
I think that's a very good
Exactly.
point by you, and I think that's a similar situation.
Exactly. And with Jordan Howard, I'm not the biggest Jordan Howard fan, but I do know that he is. No, he's a stud. I think that when I say I'm not the biggest Jordan Howard fan, I'm gonna get heat. But I'm not saying he isn't good. What I'm saying is there's some parts of the game that I'm not a big fan of. I don't like the fact that he's not that great in the passing game, and he's a little.
And I know you
He's
love
he's
passing
not
game
that.
running backs.
Yes, and I do.
He's no Brian
You know
Westbrook.
that.
Mike.
He's not even no LaShawn McCoy. But what I'm saying is he's not versatile. He's not a real versatile back. That's why you have someone like Tariq Cohen who's a good complement for him. But neither running back, you didn't see any of them. Like I know Cohen got blown up by Vinny Curry on that end around.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
that was great. A great play by Curry. So even with a sloppy game, like you said, we still were able to dominate the whole game, and that's good. But I think that Peterson, like he said, they need to clean these things up, because against a team like Seattle next week, against the Rams in 2 weeks, you might not come out on top with mistakes like that.
Well, it's definitely
Agreed.
it's a 2-game stretch that's going to be tough, and it's really going to challenge us coming into, just kind of see where we're at heading into closing out the season for that number 1 seed. I mean, obviously we had a favor done to us this week by the Rams. Thank you for that. We'll get into that later. But, no, I mean, you look at the fumbles, and there's unnecessary fumbles. The Malcolm Jenkins one. When you're in Chicago's end of the field, you have field position at this point.
Just go down.
You go down. I mean, I get getting up, and that's the whole mentality. I feels like for everybody now is not only do they want to get the turnover, but everyone has to take it to the house, and you don't. You have to understand, and he's a smart guy. I mean, he's a veteran.
Yeah.
I'm sure he felt really terrible about that, but that said, it's not always, you don't have to take it to the house. You have, especially when you have a quarterback like Carson Wentz with a running game and a passing game like they have. To me, that's at least an automatic 3 points on that drive. You have the one with LeGarrette Blount. I'm not really mad about that one, because you know what? If
He's fighting for extra yards.
If 25 times LeGarrette Blount's going to fight for extra yards and then he drops a ball, when really, if you look at it, he was held up by 2 guys. I don't even think he could have went down at that point if he wanted to. But that's what I want from him. That's his game. And you know what? He's typically very good with securing the football. And he had 2 hands on the ball when it got stretched. So, I wasn't upset about that. And you could see he was disappointed in himself in that. I mean, he's a freaking veteran and a stud. But, I mean, there's definitely things to work on. I mean, as far as the Twitter poll question goes, I'm going to drop a few things in here. We got Tom Arnone, our buddy Tom. To me, it's Ertz. He's a mismatch nightmare. But I do love some Nelson, Darryl Dawkins. Darryl Dawkins, my man.
The great.
From
Planet Lovetron checking in.
He says, I say Nelson Aguilar.
Nice.
Greg also chimes in. Greg Malakovic. Yeah, I agree. It's Ertz. Being able to occupy the middle of the field opens the sidelines for all others to eat. And he's actually been healthy so far, knock on wood. Michael Lipinski. Jeffrey's starting to get going. Yes, he is. I definitely think. Oh, and our buddy over here, Ryan, my man, you say Zach Ertz.
On the ones and twos.
Ryan, what do you...
Oh, Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan's got what? Ertz has been the go-to guy for Wentz, but Alshon's becoming a serious guy. And that's a good problem to have, right, man?
Very good.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty well known that Ertz is the safety blanket. And my beef with Ertz, and it drives me nuts every game, is and this week it was really evident he does not like contact.
Oh, my gosh, this again.
There's no yards after the catch. I can't even tell you how many times this week. It had to be at least 3 times I saw him go down before any contact even got to him.
I got to be honest with you, too, though. I don't.
Who cares?
First of all, who cares?
I do.
Yeah. 10 catches for 100 yards. Yeah, I don't really care.
I don't care.
But my thing is, I think, too, he looks still a little gimpy. considering he had 10 catches for 100 yards, I still think he looks a little bit gimpy because, like, you could see, like, normally after the catch, he can at least turn and run upfield if he's not running people over, eluding tackles, whatever. He looked slow. He didn't look like he had any explosion at all after catching the football. So that hamstring might be. I mean, the hamstrings linger, man. So it might still be lingering a little bit.
Selleck looked a little rough this game. Not as sure-handed as he usually is.
He dropped that one,
but Selleck is. Sorry,
Selleck.
I love Selleck, but Selleck at this age is Selleck at this age, and to my.
But that doesn't take away the fact that the guy is as sure-handed as it gets, and he was.
He used to be.
Some ball.
He used to be.
He
He also
is.
used to be.
When the ball's thrown to him, he makes catches.
He's dropped some. Let me say.
I don't know. I think he dropped one.
I don't know where you're seeing him drop all these balls at.
Well, let me just say this to your point about the yak with Ertz. I think a lot of Philadelphia has been kind of spoiled with Selleck. When Selleck was in his prime, we all loved him because he would make the catch. And then he would absolutely bowl over defenders.
Or he'd hurdle dudes, too.
He'd hurdle dudes. Like, how many times have we seen Selleck catch it, look like he's about to go down, but still fight for, like, another 5-10 yards? We've seen so many times where Selleck has done that.
If he makes 8 catches, I see him do that one time.
With Selleck? You're talking about Selleck?
Oh, no.
No, I'm talking about Selleck.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I'm talking about Selleck. Now, we've seen that for years. Now Ertz comes in.
It's a little different style.
It's a different style. Like Ertz understands routes now. He understands zones.
He's getting better at his route running.
He's taking a monumental leap because he understands leverage now in his route running and how to find the empty spots in zones. That's the type of player he is. He's gonna make the catch. And he doesn't have the fact that you and then people at the bar, the freaking
John.
Mark and John, like, oh my gosh, yards after the catch. What the heck is he doing? Like, all right, I'm sorry he caught 10 catches for over 100 yards.
You can't complain 10 catches for 100 yards.
What else do you want him to do? It's
yeah, but when it's like his third catch and he's going down, you don't know he's going to make 10 catches for 100 yards.
There's always for years there's been a narrative.
I love Ertz, by the way.
I know. What I'm saying is,
I love Ertz.
What I'm saying is, there's been.
It was just rough to watch this week
I'm
when he goes down like that.
I'm gonna make a small comparison. That's also driven me nuts. There's also been this narrative that DeAndre Hopkins was never a yak wide receiver, and so that was a big knock on him. I'm sorry, but you see DeAndre Hopkins, he's one of the best, if not the best wide receiver at going up and getting the ball, at attacking the ball. I don't care if he can't really run after the catch too well. If he's getting me numbers, if he's getting me clutch catches in the end zone and touchdowns, that's fine. I'm not going to nitpick. And the same thing with Ertz. If he's getting these touchdowns, getting these catches, and making big plays for Carson, being Carson's safety blanket there and go-to guy, I don't care if he has one flaw.
I think
that's fine.
I think his leaps and bounds too. It's obviously more enhanced chemistry with Carson, knowing where he's going to place the football. And he can get into some of those tighter spots and make.
I could be mistaken, but I believe this is the first time Ertz has had the same quarterback heading into the season, back-to-back seasons.
Yeah.
So that's a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And a couple more here on Justin DeFalco. What up, boys? What up, Justin? He says definitely Jeffries. He's caused double teams and just makes the defenses worried. For Charles, Brian Martin says Selleck has more yards after the catch this year than Ertz.
I know.
So
wait, I'm not. When did I debate that? I didn't. I was. You were the one that was confusing me. Selleck is the young run after the catch tight end, not Ertz. That was my point.
But I think when you're a tight end, that should be a part of your game. I think that you're the big tough wide receiver in the middle of the field who can create and get those extra.
That's a different position.
I mean, listen, like you love the running back that catches the football so much.
But that's part of the position.
I like a tough tight end who has good hands and can get a few extra yards after the catch.
Oh, okay, that's great.
That's my thing.
But you're gonna nitpick.
I love Ertz. Again, I say it again. I absolutely love Ertz. But it's just that thing. Ertz is a tight end body. He's more just a big wide receiver. I agree with that. That's from Tom.
That's a fair statement.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's from Tom. And he can't block either. That's Justin DeFalco.
He's actually gotten much, much better.
Yeah.
Much, much better.
Because he was.
And that's
another
thing he's made strides in this year. Frank Vespi, Ertz, hands down.
I got this stuff on the YouTube when you're done.
Yeah, good. Get some YouTube.
We got David Roscoe off the top. What's up, boys? Rams, and Chargers. Dan from Arizona. Todd Womack, what's good, guys? He says, good win, but shows we need to stay focused and not think we're perfect. The Chargers definitely can take the West. We'll get into, again, we always touch on the rest of the league in the second half, but good points.
I mean, the Chargers look really good now.
I was big on the Chargers.
And the Chiefs don't.
Yeah, oh, my God.
Chiefs don't. Andy Reid.
They're terrible.
Oh, God. Why did I say Chiefs in front of Charles? Why did I do that?
But, yeah, I mean, if we want to talk about the poll question,
Brian Martin, tight ends go over the middle of the field. You need to expect contact. That's my thing. He went down on like two plays without the contact
after
there.
the catch,
I was going to say, he caught the ball over the middle.
Yeah.
He's going over the middle. It's not like he's not running patterns over the middle or catching the ball over the middle.
It's not like he's short-arming it like Todd Pinkston.
Come
on.
Don't be a bitch. Take the hit.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Wow. We're really talking about this. We're really talking about Ertz, not taking contact.
Sorry, drove me nuts. It's like one of those little things. And again, it's a good problem to have that we're nitpicking at these kind of things.
Yes.
But that's just
whoa. Don't say we. You're nitpicking at it. I'm not.
You, John, and Mark.
On this couch, I'm the one that's nitpicking at it. But I can guarantee you there's other people out there who are thinking the same way I was.
10 catches for a $103. I'm pretty happy. That's
Mark
good.
and John are
That's
your
just
other
fine.
two. Are there other two that are nitpicking? That's about it.
Yeah.
But if you want, like the poll question, like I was saying, it has to be Ertz because he's shown to be the top. He has the best numbers out of all our weapons right now and everything. But personally, I think seeing Aguilar and what he can do, and then like I've said for weeks now, he's the most explosive weapon we have. He's the one, and you're talking about yards after catch. He's the one that can take a screen and take it all the way. He's the one where if he catches it, he can make multiple people miss. And there's I don't know if it's an actual conversation the coaches are having. I just saw something on Twitter about it. I think it was a poll question where they were asking, would you want to see Aguilar return punts? And so it was just an interesting thing. But that just goes to show Aguilar has that electrifying ability to take it to the house at any time. I think that you have to, as an opposing defensive coordinator, you have to now set your sights on a player like Aguilar because he might not get all the catches, but if you don't check him, he will take any ball, any catch to the house.
Yeah, and I think this week was good for him because I don't think by any means was he lost in the shuffle, but I mean he had a couple quiet weeks, which is again it's a testament that other guys were stepping up.
Yeah,
and he doesn't have to be the primary weapon. I mean, I felt like for a while he was kind of the guy that we were expecting now, which is interesting to say this season to have that big game. And he did for, 3-4 straight games. So it was nice to see other guys kind of get a chance, and then he can kind of just bounce back in this week and make huge plays for the offense.
So my answer would be a total cop-out because I'm going to say this, and I don't care. People can rip me for this. The three guys can't exist without the other. And hear me out. Nelson, who got off to the hot start? Nelson Aguilar. Who carried him through the middle stretch? Zach Ertz, who's been carrying the last few games.
Alshon Jeffrey.
Absolutely.
Good
so
points.
I just think that it's a beautiful. It's nothing wrong with that. It's a beautiful thing to have. It's all like your quarterback isn't favoring anybody. He's reading the progression, and he's even said that. He says, "I read the progression. Whoever's open is getting the ball."
Yes,
and that's what great quarterbacks do. That's what Tom Brady does. That's what Aaron Rodgers does. They're not going to focus on a guy and force feed a guy. They're going to get the ball to whoever is open. And I think that's a really, like I said, a really good problem to have.
Yeah, no, by the way, I mean, I know we're talking passing game, but what's opening that up for them? The running game.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
There's so many weapons on this offense. And again, I mean, you saw Ajayi this week. A little bit of a tougher week. He had a little hard time getting going, but, next man up. LeGarrette Blount steps up. Corey Clement, when he had a chance to step in, he was making plays.
Looked very good.
Yeah, and then Ajayi, I mean, we've kind of discussed, we were going to discuss it. We'll just touch on it a little bit. He had that breakout run, which he fumbled the ball, which, by the way, he was upset at himself. He wasn't upset or pissed off about his touches or any of that stuff. The guy's a gamer, and he was upset.
Yes.
And I knew that there was going to be questions about from the baggage coming. They were going to discuss it and see, was he pissed off, about that? And obviously he wasn't. Guy's a gamer. He wants to win. So, I mean, what do you say, guys? There's just so many weapons on this team.
Yeah, I with Ajayi, I think too. Like, I definitely agree with you. I think that it's a competitor. When you think about we played sports growing up. It's even when your team wins and you do something bad, you make a mistake, it still bothers you. I mean, it's just that's human nature,
You're
man.
pissed
That's,
at yourself. You're not showing up.
And that's not even sports. Like that's like any walk of life. If you're at your job and something goes really well for your company, but you screwed something up, you're still going to be pissed at yourself for screwing it up. It's just human nature.
Yeah. I just think, and we won't get too deep into it, but I just think that there was some misconceptions on how that was perceived, which I disagree with those misconceptions.
Yeah, I think we kind of all do. You know, I was looking at the tape, and
you give us your weekly Ajayi breakdown.
And this is the first week where Ajayi has had a bad game, and it's looking at the film, it's easy to see.
It had to be a bad game because he texted me at like 8 a.m. and he's like, dude, I was watching the tape, and you remember that play I was telling you about? I'm talking about that play tonight. It was even worse when I looked at the game.
It was pretty bad.
I gotta say, your Charles impression's pretty good. Yes, it's not bad.
Well, when it comes to that whole thing that's out there about him being upset about the touch, I agree with you guys. I don't think it's true because watching him, if you've watched the video of that play where he does fumble, but then Nelson recovers it, he's just, even when the refs put their hands up for touchdown, he's still really pissed. He's lying on the ground. He's smacking his helmet, and he's just, you can tell even on the sideline, he's angry. He's cursing at himself. He's just pissed off, and that's what it was for. You don't want to be that guy who makes a big turnover for your team in a big spot like that. So I agree with you. He and at the same time, I think he knows he didn't have a great game outside of even just that. Watching the film, that first carry he had a hole up the middle at 2 different occasions, and he didn't take it. Yeah. He bounced it outside. Yeah, and it ran for the no gain. Yeah, for no gain. You watch it there. He had a hole up the middle, right when he took the handoff. He didn't take it. He took it outside. The linebacker sealed off the edge, went around and sealed off the edge. So that left the only other one linebacker in the hole for him to miss and maybe take for a bigger run.
But even in worst case scenario, it's at least a 3 or 4
yard gain. Exactly, it's a minimal gain, but it's still a positive game. He still didn't take the hole. You went outside, and that's something that has been a knock in terms of scouting reports on Ajayi, is that he tends to bounce stuff outside. And watching him week by week, he has at least one run each week that I've seen in his minimal touches where he does have issues with hitting the right running lane. Now, is every running back perfect? No, they're not perfect. So I don't expect him to be perfect. And I've given him astounding grades each of the past 2 weeks. But you even have his false start. You even have his drop pass. You even have plays where he got tackled, where he wasn't able to the negative 6 yard gain, the negative 6 yard run where he reverse field. Like, he's trying to make something happen, but he ends up making it worse. It's stuff where, in totality, I think he felt like that run, that big run, he was pushing. Like, all right, this is my, he's pressing. And then he feels like this is his big chance to make up for all of it, but then he fumbles. It's like kicking you while you're down. Like,
this is what I don't want. And we've beaten the dead horse about the reputation that came from Miami, whether it's warranted or not. I mean, you didn't hear anything about the year before. They're a terrible team this year. Let's be honest. And losing, I mean, these guys are competitors. It's tough. And I don't want this to now be a thing, and it's going to be, where here he's under a microscope to where this guy's changing his warrior mentality on the field, and he feels like he can't show that kind of emotion. I want to see him pissed off, beating his helmet, cursing at himself, and not happy about the fact that he had an unnecessary fumble when it could have been a touchdown. Yeah. And I mean, it worked out in our favor, but if it didn't, people would probably not be saying anything about it.
It's funny thinking about our poll question last week when we said it was, should Ajayi get the majority of the carry? Should Blunt? Should it be an equal time share, or should it be hot hand? We should have had another option, game plan, because Doug Peterson knew the best way to beat the Bears was downhill. So who gets the most touches? LeGarrette Blount.
Absolutely.
So that's
great point.
That's the way it's probably going to roll for the rest of the season. And then also looking at it, and I think you made a couple really good points about Ajayi's game in general. You also have to look at it from this perspective. This is a guy who's brand new to this team. he's trying to earn more carries. He's trying to get more carries. So he didn't have a great start. So he gets this run. He thinks, I'm taking this damn thing to the end zone.
Yeah.
And again, we talked about Blunt earlier. I can't get mad at a guy for trying to fight for yards and losing the football.
No, especially when that's your game.
Yeah, you can't get mad at a guy for fighting for extra yards because, I mean, it's – and the guy kind of got it from high. It was a weird play. And And again,
and he did everything right. He got 2 hands on the football. He's got 2 guys holding him up and another guy pounding at the football in front of him.
Right? You're talking about Blunt,
yeah.
I mean, you can't get mad about
exactly.
that
And
kind of stuff.
With Ajayi's fumble, he was fighting off Fuller for a good 10 yards.
Yeah.
Like they kept fighting each other. He was trying to shed it, and after 10 yards, finally got him off him. But once Fuller went to the ground, the second that happened, that's when what's his name?
Was it Robinson?
No, the other defensive back for the Bears. He came from behind. And that's when you punch the ball out.
Yeah.
Like you can't I will never make an excuse for a fumble, but I'll understand. Like, hey, all right, he's trying to make. It's not like he's being careless and he's waving the ball out there and he's not looking.
Well, no,
he's trying to make a play.
It's like Brian Martin just said. Let's talk about the Malcolm Jenkins one. Talk about ball security. We kind of already talked about that, but that's an unnecessary one.
Yes, exactly.
To me, that's a guy that, and again, to me, it's out of character for him. But that's a guy that is not being aware of where he's at on the field. You know.
Surrounded by 6 Bears.
Surrounded by 6 Bears. And he's still fighting, dude. There's no blockers there to help you out.
Yeah.
Like you have Carson Wentz as your quarterback with all these weapons. Like go down. You're in their end of the field. Just go down and give your team a chance to put points on the board. But, I mean, back to Facebook a little bit here because some people have been chiming in on
Oh, yeah,
some
YouTube
stuff.
blew up after. Well, no, literally.
Who said something controversial? I can't remember. It's probably you, Chrome, probably with all your
Oh, God, probably.
negative Zach Ertz talk.
Charles Johnson wants to know, do you think next year someone's going to try to take our defensive coordinator? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that.
And our quarterback and the quarterback coach for that matter. I think they're both going to get – and the offensive coordinator for that matter. I think all 3 are going to be – they might get poached.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we may have to fill a whole new coaching staff next year. I don't know if we're going to lose all of them. I think Reich might stay, but I definitely think that Schwartz now, as the season's going on, and that defense is just
and I think
better,
DiFilippo, I really think DiFilippo's already been talked about as a possible head coach candidate. I could see it. And you remember they tried to, on the Jets tried to interview him for their offensive coordinator position, and he was blocked by the Eagles.
Yeah.
If he's going to get a head coaching opportunity, though, the Eagles are not going to block him from that. They can't block him. That would just be completely inappropriate. Be the Jets offensive coordinator or stay and be Carson Wentz's quarterback coach. Okay, yeah. I think that was almost in his best interest that they blocked that interview. But yeah, I think he's got head coach written all over him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you got on YouTube?
We got Pootie Tang saying, "What up, peoples?
What up, Pootie Tang?
Slow starts will kill us in the postseason. Whenever we have extra days off, we start off slow as hell. We have to fix that, especially if we get the 1 seed and a bye." And I agree with that. I think that is a worry if we get that 1 seed, like coming out a little bit flat. And we got.
You know what though? I will say this: when does the defense come out flat?
That is
the offense has come out flat sometimes, but the defense has not come out.
And
flat.
then that's what's great about having both units so good is when one is slacking, and it has shown in this season. When one is slacking, the other picks it up, and and then we got, I guess, what is this? KXNG. I'm sorry if I can't pronounce the username. David, do you actually think Rams will beat the Eagles in playoffs? And David comes back and says, yes, Rams have a chance at NFC, and Chargers have a chance on AFC. So,
I mean, the Rams are a threat. I think we agree with that.
I think both are a threat.
Yeah, I definitely don't disagree.
Again, not in the second half.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Rams are a damn good football team. But yeah, we'll talk about it more.
Yeah, and I mean, some things have changed now as far as the landscape of where teams are going to start falling when the seeding, as the season's winding down. So we'll definitely get into it. And again, thank you to the Rams this week, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Win for us.
Thank you.
We needed that cushion.
Thank you. The injuries to the Saints cornerbacks too. So.
Yeah. So who you guys giving your churros? As you know, we love churros here. So our player of the game is the churro of the game. Who do you have for your churro this week, Charles?
Go, Paulie. Because
I
slept. I'm still thinking about
I pointed you first.
Oh, God. Okay.
So you got to go.
If I'm going to point one out, I want to go with someone on the defensive end.
Well, I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I'm going to go Nelson because I think Nelson had a huge bounce back week this week. Again, not that I don't think he hasn't been a part of the offense or been a reason why other guys have been successful, because if he's becoming more of a focus by other defenses, his production might go down, but other guys' production obviously is going to go up. But another huge game with him. He's not dropping balls except for that one.
Oops.
Oopsies.
Told you I'm gonna call everyone out now. No, but I think this was a good week for him. And as the season's going down, I told you I want to see the full season of what Nelson Aguilar is going to do, and he's keeping it together, and I'm loving it. So my churro this week goes to Nelson.
I'll do what you did last week. I'll get one big churro.
You get like a foot-long churro.
But this time, instead of breaking it in half, I'm breaking it into quarters. Maybe even more than that. I'm going to give it to the whole defensive line. Because holding the Bears' running game, which is there's
some big boys. You're going to need more than one.
That's a lot of churros, man.
Foot churro for each person. Holding that running game, and the only part of the offense that's good for the Bears is the running game. So to take that element out and hold them to only 6 rushing yards, that's monumental. And you have players, Brandon Graham doing his thing like always, Cox doing his thing like always, but Chris Long going against his brother, all the trash talking that was going on.
Oh, it's great.
Barnett again looking better each week.
Better and better.
Oh my God!
What a great draft pick he was.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, Curry with that great play on the end around to Cohen. They all played wonderful. So I'm gonna have to give it to all of them, the whole defensive line.
Charles, for you, John Miller says, I think that it should go to Ertz. Yards after the catch, yards after the catch, yards after the catch, Charles.
Okay, so listen, mine is going to be a sort of cumulative churro from many weeks. And I'm going to go with Stefan Wisniewski, because when that guy came in the starting lineup, all of a sudden that offensive line started to be cohesive, started to play better, and he's been really, really good all season. Because, again, the biggest thing about an offensive lineman is when no one talks about him. No one's talking about Stefan Wisniewski because he's doing a damn good job. And one of the things I think that's really impressive about him, and really their whole offensive line, is how athletic they all are and how their ability to get to the second level. And there are so many blocks where you see Wisniewski on a linebacker and you're like, it's just really impressive athleticism all around.
Agreed.
So Stefan Wisniewski gets a nice size churro, a cumulative one for weeks.
I'll tell you, man. I mean, there's just so much, and they really have a good offensive line this season. I love, and it's giving Carson time to find open guys, create plays, extend plays. It's really exciting. Charles Johnson says, who do you think is the next to get a contract extension? So we do I almost feel like we almost waver on this kind of week by week. I think for me, it has to be, well, it's tough to say who's next. Well, let's just talk in season. Who needs to have an in-season extension? I think if you don't want to lose Bradham, it's got to be Bradham, because I think if he hits the market, he's gone. Yeah, he's a guy that's going to get a lot of money on the open market, but I think it's going to be Alshon.
I think
interesting. Okay,
aren't there rumors? There are rumors out there that they're working on a Brandon Graham extension.
Right.
So I think that they're trying to extend, because we talked about here I think 2 weeks ago. Yeah. With Tom. He's not getting paid that much.
No, it's surprising.
Well, it's with Brandon Graham too. I don't know the numbers offhand, but you could also, by signing him to an extension, you could probably help yourself out in the long run by giving him a nice big signing bonus that wouldn't count against your cap.
Yeah. True. Okay.
So you might actually save yourself some money by doing that. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but that seems like a possibility. So that could actually help them out.
Especially with Howie working the cap.
Right, exactly. That dude's ridiculous with that. But, man, it's got to be either Bradham or Alshon. And I just, man. My thing is, too, with Bradham. I mean, I get it. The guy's having a great season. I think he should make the Pro Bowl. I think he's been that good. But my thing is, in his career, his seasons without Jim Schwartz have not been good. So maybe the thing you could look at, we just talked about Jim Schwartz, maybe if Jim Schwartz hops ship, goes to a head coaching job, maybe Nigel Bradham is their first free agent signing. Who knows? But, yeah, man. I'm going to say Graham only because that's the rumor out there and because it might make sense in the long run to lock him up to maybe clear cap space in general.
Yeah.
You're going with Graham. Yeah.
Graham.
I just think as far as guys that it's necessary to do in season, and I agree with the Graham. That's a good point. But I think Bradham for me is the guy, even over Alshon. I still think we re-sign Alshon one way or the other. Bradham's the guy. If we don't lock him up by the end of the season, I think he
timing.
walks.
See, you're saying timing. I think I mean, Hicks. I love Hicks, but it's so hard to rely on him with his health.
Exactly.
But
You
Michael
have to have a
Kendricks.
contingency plan.
Michael Kendricks isn't going anywhere. Because if you were going to trade him, you would have traded him by now.
No, what a monster year he's having.
He's also having an excellent year. But my thing is, if you can get away with having those two, and then maybe you draft a linebacker in, like, I don't know, the 4th round, you have a bunch of 4th-round picks, or who knows, maybe the end of the 1st round. I mean, depending on who's out there, someone like a Malik Jefferson from Texas or something, you can get your hands on. But yeah, I mean, it's so tough with Bradham. I don't want to say that you could afford to lose him, but with Hicks and Kendricks, maybe he's not on top of the priority list. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Michael Tafuri. Sorry, Michael, if I got your name wrong. That was one of the main things discussed, larger guarantee, lower cap hit on the team. I agree it's the best move to make right now. So
there you go.
You got somebody on your side with that. So
That's a good point.
Now, who do you think we're losing next year in free agency? I know we're getting ahead of ourselves as far as, but I mean, I think it's like a week-by-week basis. Guys are stepping up. Guys are, I can't even really say anybody's having like a bad year. I feel like everybody's having a good year this year.
Yeah.
I don't see.
Can't keep everyone.
Maybe LeGarrette. Maybe you lose LeGarrette. I mean, maybe you think about bringing LeGarrette back only because he's not signed for a lot of money right now, and
I don't think
can't imagine he's going to get a ton of money next year as a 31-year-old running back.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
So I don't know. I guess that depends on like other things that happen and what you really think of Wendell Smallwood and that going forward. I mean, I feel like it's funny because to me, I didn't think they were going to extend Jernigan. And that was the first guy they looked to lock up, and it's great. I think it was a great move, but I was very surprised that he was the first guy to get locked up.
Yeah, but I think we talked about that. You know, when you bring a guy like that in, there's an intention to bring him and re-sign him. I mean, Patrick Robinson could be a guy that could go.
I believe he's.
Man, Patrick Robinson's been great.
But
this
they're
year.
so.
I hear you.
I mean, we're
so much depth.
deep at defensive back.
Yeah.
Like it's not anything as far as his production. It's more of a.
No. Yeah, I hear you.
Is there a spot for him?
Not only that, he's gonna probably. I mean, it's tough. He's probably gonna cash in because he's having a strong year. But the last time he had a strong year with the Chargers, he cashed in with the Colts. That didn't work out too well for him or the Colts. So I don't know. Maybe he looks to stay here because of the familiarity with the scheme. I don't know. That's tough.
I think if I'm going down the line, I think if I were to really, really bet on the guys who are not returning, Blunt, I think, is gone. I think Trey Burton's gone.
Trey Burton's, I would agree with that.
I think
he's had a nice little.
Obviously, Corey Graham. I don't think he's going to be. I really don't.
Yeah.
I don't think with Sidney Jones. I think with Sidney Jones coming back, I don't think Patrick Robinson stays another year.
Yeah. And I agree. It's just an odd man out, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Bo Allen is another one. I think his contract is up.
I believe you're right.
Yeah. I think he's another one I could see moving on to try to get a starting job somewhere because he's played solid, and for a team that will be looking for, younger pieces to build on the defensive line, rebuilding.
I gotta be honest. He's been much better in this scheme than I know I'm not alone in thinking that. He's been much better in this scheme than I thought he'd be. Yeah. Much better.
Yeah, I agree. So I think those are the names off the top of my head. The name I always want to bring up is besides Branham is Trey Burton because there are people that do believe, and I think Brooks from NBC Sports Philly, I think he's one of them, but I could be wrong. Yeah. Barrett Brooks, yeah. I think he's one of them.
Man, I talk to Barrett every day.
He says that he believes, and I agree with him, that if you take Burton and you put him on a team that knows how to use him and is in need of a tight end, he could be a really good tight end in this league for a team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of tight ends that can move like him. He's an extension. He's not like Ertz, where he has no yak. He can make the catch and get some yards after the catch. So I mean, that's what you want. You want.
I'm gonna start a new show and call it Yak. Zach Ertz is Yak.
So I like Trey Burton, but I do think he's made enough of a name for himself to get signed somewhere else.
Link into that too, though. Brent Selleck, is Brent Selleck here next year?
See, I was thinking that. I'm going to be curious. I mean, you don't know.
You never know that guy. He makes decent money too. So I mean, hey, if they win the Super Bowl, that might just be it. He might just go out on top, which would be awesome.
Yeah.
It would be a really great way to punctuate his career as an Eagle. But who knows?
And it's tough to see Selleck go because I think I think diehard fans absolutely love Selleck. Since the day he came on with the team back in, what year? Was that 2007? 2006? I could be wrong. I remember he had the big playoff games against the Giants. 2008. That was 2008. He was always been so good.
He was really productive in the passing game for even a long. Like really, like he averaged something like 60 catches and like 600 yards and like 5 touchdowns a season.
Well, I think
for like 5 years. I mean, that's damn good production from the tight end.
I think it's safe to say we've been pretty fortunate as far as the tight end position. For him, we had Chad Lewis for a long time.
Chad Lewis.
And then you had Selleck. Now you have Ertz. I think you've had really good. All very different types of guys, all different skill sets, but very good tight ends for our quarterbacks to work with. Even that's at least what they gave Donovan was a tight end.
Yeah, it's true.
So
Chad Lewis is really good, man.
I loved Chad Lewis when he was with us. Charles Johnson, how many years do you think LeGarrette Blount has left? I mean, for me, it's like a. You know, a lot of people thought this year he wasn't going to have much left in the tank, and look what he's doing.
I was going to say, if he's used similarly to the way he's being used this year by Doug Peterson, he might have a few years left.
Yeah.
His bell cow years might be over.
Oh, yeah,
definitely. Yeah. But if he's utilized the correct way like he is right now and he's part of a committee, I think he could still have a few more productive seasons.
And I think a good guy to compare him to is Jerome Bettis. When Jerome Bettis, his last few years, he became the red zone back, the third down back.
Fast Willie Parker.
Willie Parker.
And you had Willie Parker, and Deuce was there. They had
I can't remember.
They had a nice little running back core then, and again, that was the twilight of his last few years of his career was spent very productive, including winning a Super Bowl in that role. So I agree. I think that there could be another 2 years maybe left if he's used right, he's rested properly. You know, if you have a good physician on the team, trainer,
good sports medicine
trainer
staff,
taking care of him. Yeah, I mean, you know, but yeah. What do you think?
I think that it pretty much agree with you guys. I mean,
it's a year by year.
It's a year by year thing
at this point. When the guys hit 31 and 32,
it's running backs these days. Yeah. Actually, it's honestly even with players in general, I feel like it's sort of like that for a lot of guys.
Very different. Like you're used to watching sports like baseball and basketball, where these guys can play into their mid to late 30s.
Yeah.
At least at a decent level. Football, it's like you're old at 27
especially
and 28.
Yeah. But this leads into a conversation that I do want to touch on another show because it's a very deep conversation. But when you start to talk about the running back, because we used to talk about once you hit 30 you're done, like because and that's it was historically proven, like running backs hit 29, 30 and they they fell off a cliff. But nowadays with the running back position and so many of them being used as running back by committee, are we starting to see the position evolve? Are we starting to see running backs' lifespans extend a little longer, and to be more of in a committee role? And also, are we going to start to see more of a shift in what I talked to you about, the Hall of Fame voting? Maybe not anytime soon, but far down the line. When will the committee ever consider now, like the specific role running back like a Sproles? Will they start to see them, like now we got to change our mindset. It's not so much about only the feature back, but those running backs who had a specific role but did it at an elite level.
Yeah, and I think
I gotta say something that's gonna make you very happy. I compare it to baseball.
I had that same discussion.
He had the same
starting pitchers and
relievers and DHs.
Yeah,
they're a part of the game. They've been a part of the game since DHs have been a part of the game since the 70s. I mean, they didn't. When did they start counting saves? Was what, the 70s?
Yeah,
but the
something
closer
like that.
role was invented by La Russa in the 80s.
Yeah,
really, with
Eck.
Eckersley. So, but you still have so many old time kind of like traditional sports writers that are doing the voting.
Yeah.
Yep.
That it's. I mean, you look at it like, how is Edgar Martinez not in the World
Series? That's a disgrace that he's not.
In Cooperstown.
Yeah.
How is
it's a disgrace?
I mean, David Ortiz might be a guy, but he's not going to get in first year.
Yeah. Well, and he's got some other stuff too.
Yeah, but I mean, and the PED stuff. Yeah. But I mean, you have.
Well, look at it's funny that.
Lee Smith.
Smith
was the all-time saves.
It's so hypocritical, though. It's so hypocritical because at the same time, that's how they are. They have that mentality. But then a guy like Mike Mussina, who that was his thing. Like he just 8 innings and like he pitched a lot of games and he won a lot of. But because he doesn't have quite like the ERA numbers, he doesn't get in. But it's like, Come on, man. Like either you can't have it both ways.
Well, listen, I mean, we're just to round that out because you're, and I'm a Cardinal homer, but I'm a baseball fan. You look at a guy like Edmonds who has just about 400 home runs and like 13 Gold Gloves or whatever it is, and he doesn't even get a sniff. Like defense is a part of the game. Yeah. But so I mean, to round out with all the sports, you're always going to have those traditional guys that are looking at like just ERA and wins. And they're looking at
just rushing yards and touchdowns.
Right. Like you talk about a DH where, these guys get knocked because they're not on the field. But yet guys who win double-digit Gold Gloves, if they had a mediocre 350 home runs or 400 home runs, they don't get a sniff of the Hall of Fame. Yeah. But, now they're talking about a guy like Beltran who's in that same conversation. So with football, I just think until that generation of sports writers passes by, and especially with all the analytics and everything that kind of show now the change of the game and all the other different things that contribute to a winner, it's going to be a while. Unfortunately for a guy like Sproles, I think Sproles is going to be he's going to be one of the guys that's going to pass by him by then. But guys similar to him will then get that kind of an opportunity. I agree.
And we'll save that longer conversation for another show because it's a very deep conversation to have.
I love you just lit up. Baseball talk.
Oh God, I didn't know I love my baseball talk.
Got some quick.
I have to jump this in for you because to follow up, John Miller says the Ertz Yak Show will be a short show, and Brian Martin says the Ertz Yak Show will never have a greatest hits. Yes.
Oh man,
I'm with you guys.
Funny. That's a good one.
Yeah, the Ertz, but it'll be a damn consistent show and a damn good one. That's what it'll be.
Yes.
And John says Hall of Fames have become a joke. I agree with you.
Yeah, that one I kind of agree with. Yeah.
We got Pootie Tang saying.
Sorry, I'm gonna laugh every time because I'm really immature.
He's saying, just don't think the D playing well makes it okay for the offense to start slow, which they did on Sunday. Playoffs are one and done. If the D can't pick up the slack for that one game, you will lose, which is a good point. But it's more of just us saying that, okay, like even if that does happen. I was
just saying that the whole team, it's not the whole team that's been.
Yeah, exactly.
The defense has been really consistent since, I don't know, about week 4 or so.
Exactly.
They've been really consistent.
Exactly. And then we got Todd Womack saying he thinks Peters and Kelsey is gone. I don't think Kelsey's going anymore.
Nah, Kelsey, I don't think you can afford to let him go now.
And if Peters goes, it's only because of him retiring. And then he says, I'd rather lose Selleck than Burton. And then Fillmore Hip Hop, we forgot a name. Don't forget about L.J. Smith, Rutgers. We did forget about L.J. Smith.
L.J. had some good productive years. He was good for a little bit.
A little disappointing. It's funny.
I mean, of the class of of tight ends that we're talking about, though, he's definitely at the tail end.
He did catch a touchdown pass. Remember?
Listen, I think it was a really good move because if you didn't take him, you only could have had Jason Witten, but whatever.
Oh yeah,
no big deal.
Yeah, I mean, but L.J. Smith always had that touchdown pass in the Super Bowl.
Oh, your Rutgers bias. It's just I can feel
Rutgers.
It's oozing off you right
now. Hey,
now.
we don't have much to brag about, so let me have my.
Mohamed Sanu throwing touchdowns. You got that to brag about.
Yeah, we do.
Charles Johnson asked, what position should we be looking for in the next draft? One thing we said last week, we're not going to.
Come on. It was my time to shine right now.
I mean, if you want to get into it, you can, but because Paul, one of the things that Paul really does very well for NBC and really just for himself, and what he writes about is he does mock draft, which he was phenomenal with all of his picks this year in the mock drafts for every time he released one. So usually we were planning on waiting. If you want to give us a little bit of your feel now.
Little sneak peek.
I'm so excited right now.
Let's do it. Come on.
You don't even know.
Time's yours.
So the question was, what positions?
What positions do you think that we'll be looking for in the draft?
I would say definitely offensive tackle is a big one.
What do you think is going to be the highest priority with our earliest picks?
I'm a big believer in BPA, man. Best player available. And like I said, so with offensive tackle, it's a deep draft at offensive tackle, I believe. And it's also a need because you need to have a young offensive tackle. Some people like Vaitai. I got to be honest. I think Vaitai's a solid football player, but I think you can upgrade the position. I think there are better guys out there. I think
we agree with that.
Yeah, I also think linebacker is a position that I think they could look at. Mm-hmm. And another one that I think is kind of a sneaky deep position is wide receiver. Because right now, most people consider Courtland Sutton, he's a kid from SMU, to be the best receiver in the draft. And people have him going in like the teens. And I think that's like I think that's like disrespectful. He should be a top 10 pick. Yeah. I think he's that good. And then even Calvin Ridley from Alabama, people have him going in the 20s. And if you watch that kid run routes, it's scary. Like, he's so quick and so smooth. And the fact that he's going to go in the 20s, there's going to be a good young receiver that's going to fall in that late 20, early 30 area. So, I mean, there's if I was going to say the 3 best positions would be offensive tackle, linebacker, and receiver. Those are the 3 positions that I'd say probably most likely to target. But a lot can change. A lot can change from now until the draft. So
no, and I think linebacker, too, especially because we were talking about a guy like a Bradham or the uncertainty of Hicks and his health. You know, you're going to want to have that depth.
Malik Jefferson from Texas is my guy right now. I also like Raquan Smith from Georgia is another guy I really like a lot. Oh, my God, I'm so excited. I'm sorry. That felt so good.
Justin DeFalco says O-line in next draft and linebacker. O-line depth and linebacker are the top 2 picks they should take. So
and to just piggyback off of your point about Vaitai, when I watched some of the film from this week, he struggled. He struggled on snaps. There was the one pass to Jeffrey in the second quarter, right before the Ertz touchdown, I think. It was the first quarter. I'm getting stuff mixed up, but he totally missed a lineman coming in on a delayed blitz. Like, completely, like, there was a defensive back coming on the blitz, and Ajayi picked him up. Vaitai was staring that blitzer down the whole time. Didn't see the defensive end come in. And it's thank God Wentz got rid of that ball when he did, because that could have been a huge blown-up play.
2 holding penalties he had as well this week.
And on the screenplay for Ajayi, Vaitai lost his block. He was pancaked on his block. Well, so there are times where it's evident that, like, I've been a proponent, I've been a supporter of Vaitai in the sense that I don't think he's going to be as bad as people were worried about.
No, I'll say that he's been really solid. I don't want to bury the guy because he's considering he's filling in for a Hall of Famer, he's doing a hell of a job.
Yeah,
and he's been very good. Even very good might be stretching a little bit. He's been good. He's been good. He's been a steady fill-in for Peters. I just think long-term, and like I think I said it last week, I think against a good defense and a good defensive coach, I just have a bad feeling that Vaitai might be the guy that gets exploited a little bit.
I completely agree with you. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, at 9 o'clock we're gonna take a brief break, but I want to get into just real quick because I know on the other side we're gonna talk about the NFC. We're gonna talk about Dak and his wonderful performance again this week.
He didn't have Tyron Smith. Oh, wait.
Wait. I'm telling you, it's Dan Bailey. That's the missing link, guys. I'm telling you.
No, Dan Bailey was there too, man.
Oh, he did play.
He did play.
No, they had Dan Bailey.
Wait, hold on. We have to look for another excuse.
Yeah, I know. I mean, everybody's back almost except for Zeke. But no, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk obviously about the breaking news this week today with Eli. But real quick, just over the next 5 or so minutes, let's just go into this week with we have Seahawks this week, right?
Seahawks, Sunday Night Football.
Hashtag burn Byron. It's coming. It's this week.
I love that.
So, and listen, we got Byron coming back this week. No Chancellor, no Richard Sherman. Mm-hmm. What do you guys expect as far as the offense, the defense? Where do you think what's your score predictions as far as this week?
Score predictions? I didn't even plan that. But,
God,
all right,
man,
so
bro, we're just throwing stuff at us.
Catch me off guard. But I actually think it's going to be a defensive struggle this week. Playing in Seattle, it's tough. And I think that, even though we do have vets, I think there are still young players on this team who still don't know how to deal with that noise and that environment. And I think Russell Wilson, I'm a big Russell Wilson fan. He's just a magician. He accounts for like over 80% of that offense. No matter how good the defense is, I still believe he can make plays each and every game, whether it be a couple to get them just into the game. Like I think he'll keep it tight. His ability will keep it close. And I think they don't have the players. They don't have Sherman. They don't have Chancellor. But I think they still do have Earl Thomas. Like, he's playing, right? Earl Thomas is still there.
He's been banged up a little bit, but he's been playing.
Yeah, and that D-line is still that D-line. I think they still can.
I believe. They cut Dwight Freeney, which I thought was weird.
Weird.
Yeah.
I think Cliff Averill might be a little banged up right now. I I wish
I
I
haven't
knew
even
that off the
seen
top
the
of my
injury
head.
report, yeah.
But I believe, and I think Michael Bennett's been battling something like
Yeah.
all season. He's been banged up.
But they got Richardson.
You know
who's
what?
playing.
If I'm gonna be bold though, I think I'm not gonna say they crush him, but I think it's one of those games where they're kind of in control the whole time. I think they win because Seattle's offensive line is garbage. It is bad. Even Dwayne Brown,
so
they
bad.
got Dwayne Brown. Even he's not playing great.
Yeah.
I just think the Eagles' defensive line is going to destroy that offensive line. The only thing is Russell Wilson is Russell Wilson. He's going to make plays. He's going to use his feet. But they have no running game.
No
Their
running
running
game at
game's
all.
garbage. They have Baldwin, they have Richardson, they have Jimmy Graham. But the Eagles have done a really good job shutting down players. I don't think they have the type of playmaker that can hurt the Eagles' defense. And then offensively, I think it was actually a really good experience last year for Wentz to go into that building as a rookie and have to deal with all that without Lane Johnson. And it's just it's such a better team than that was in Seattle last year.
And Brian Martin says the Seahawks are a 5.5-point dog, biggest spread at home since like 2012.
It's insane. I think it was since Russell Wilson, before Russell Wilson was his rookie year or whatever.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
crazy.
Jimmy Graham's been playing a lot better.
He has.
He's had a really good year.
Big red zone threat now.
See,
again.
I'm more with you. I'm not saying it's going to be another like 30-point blowout. The Eagles this week became the only third team in football hit in the history. Well, I think since the merger to win 3 straight games by 23 points or more.
Yeah, I don't see that at
which
all.
was,
No,
that's a lot. I don't think we're going to make it to 5 games with that.
Right.
But I mean, if we could take away the middle of the field to where you can shut Jimmy Graham down a little bit, and I think our linebackers are going to be really big this week. I think you're going to get a big game from Bradham. And as long as our corners, which have been phenomenal every week, are continuing to play and shut down the passing game. To me, it's a defense versus defense battle, and I think our offense is more equipped with all the injuries they have on defense to, like you said, not manhandle them, but to continue to make plays, move the ball down the field.
Be in control of the game.
Yeah. So I think that if I'm going to go prediction this week, I'm going to say 24-16.
I would go a little bit higher. I might say like 27-20.
No, and I'm saying like the 16 I think will be like a garbage TD, at the end. So I'm thinking like we're like 24-9, and then we do our prevent defense, and we give up a touchdown at some point.
It's so funny because I was the one saying that it's going to be like a little bit of a struggle, but my score is I'm going to have them winning 20-10, because I think when I say defensive struggle, I think that there are times when I think that noise is going to be a problem. So I don't think we're going to be putting up 30 points like we have been past few weeks. I think that our offense will still struggle at times. But I do agree. I think for the most part of the game, we will be in control. And I think our defense will stop the Seattle offense, because I think our defensive line is just the perfect matchup against that Seattle offensive line. I think that being such a big Russell Wilson fan, I think I'm giving him a little bit credit to be able to put up at least some points against us. I think that's the only thing. So I'll have us winning like 20-10.
I'm not buying
20-14.
The crowd noise thing. I feel like is so overblown. I just really feel it. The Chiefs got their butts kicked at home. The Chiefs have the second loudest stadium, And let's just clarify this too. It's the way the damn stadium's built. Their fans aren't any louder. They don't have more lung capacity.
That's 100% it.
That's a joke. Like, come on.
That's 100%. It is the stadium.
Yeah, 12th man. My ass. It's built. It's subterranean. It's under the ground. Like, get out of here.
Ryan,
Sorry.
you got a score prediction over there?
I really agree with a lot of what you guys have been saying. I think when it comes down to it to beat the Seattle team, they have injuries all over the place. It's about managing the mistakes. If they're a team that can finally get Carson to turn over the ball or just turn over the ball in general, I think it's going to be a big issue. I just don't see that happening, though.
I don't see it either.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I'll go a little bit closer, because I think this is going to be where it comes within a last-minute drive that Russell Wilson's going to need to make, but he won't, just because of how good the defense will be. I'll go 30-23.
Okay. That's a good.
Okay.
That's a strong score. I could see for both teams putting up big points too, and totally surprising us. And
that
Yeah,
happens. That kind of stuff happens all the
50-40.
time. Man.
So
It'll be 50-40.
yeah. So we're gonna take a quick break. We're probably about 10, 15-minute break. So live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios, BMW of AC.com, Gibson Mayer LLC or Certified Public Accountant, GibsonMayer.com, StreamSmart.com, and don't forget about the Twitter question brought to you by Scanzano Sports.com. Which weapon in the passing game is, for the Eagles, it's the biggest threat to the opposing defenses? Ertz, Jeffrey, Aguilar, or other? We'll see you guys on the other side.
Do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300. 3300 or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300 or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
Hey guys, we're back here on Birds of a Feather on A2D Radio. Here at the BMW of Atlantic City Studios, BMWofac.com. Also sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC, your certified public accountant. GibsonMayer.com, StreamSmart.com. Again, our Twitter poll is up. Brought to you by ScanzanoSports.com. Which weapon in the passing game for the Eagles is the biggest threat to the opposing defenses? Zach Ertz, Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar, or other? And again, we can continue to discuss that stuff. Anything Eagles you guys want to talk about, we're happy to do so. Just drop us a few comments, whether it's on YouTube, on Facebook. But we wanted to now take this time to get into some of the other broader subjects in the league as far as, we're going to get into the change in the NFC landscape this week. So let's start from the beginning. Obviously, we had the Cowboys this week and another wonderful performance from Dak Prescott. This is all I'm gonna say, and I don't feel like I'm taking a dump on anybody because I think a lot of Cowboys fans will at this week kind of waved the white flag a little bit. The conversation of Carson or Dak, I mean, most of that I talk to, the conversation of Carson and Dak and who's better, it's over. That conversation is over.
You sure?
I'm not saying it is. There's no conversation to sit there and have there's no argument to be had for Dak at this point.
I mean, that's what we say. I'm just saying for Cowboys fans.
I'm telling you, I had quite a few interactions with, like, I'm not talking about Eagles haters because there's a big difference between someone being a Cowboys fan and being an Eagles hater, and that's what you get a lot of.
Yeah.
To where, yeah, they like the Cowboys, but they're more of a fan of hating the Eagles than they are of actually liking the Cowboys because they talk more about hating the Eagles than they do about their actual football team. Yeah. So I put people in different classes. So what I'm talking about is the actual Cowboys fans, and I have respect for those people, whether you love the team or not, people who are an educated fan who can sit and have a conversation.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people put the white flag up this week and said, I mean, it's inevitable. You're looking at Dak Prescott, who, he's coming back. What was we joked about earlier? But what was the excuse? Oh, Tyron Smith is out. Oh, well, he's back this week. Oh, Dan Bailey's out. I joke about that because that was a literal conversation I had with an Eagles hater, not with a Cowboys fan. That Dan Bailey was like one of the, if not the keys to them, like sliding, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
If losing your kicker is causing your team to go in a complete landslide, then I have no words for you.
And I mean, taking out Zeke, obviously, because everybody knows Zeke is the number one. But I mean, there's still weapons there. You have Jason Witten. He's an aged guy, but you have Dez, and it's just what you're seeing from Dak at this point, because he had his protection there on the offensive line. Or what was perceived to be the issue of, having that protection at the offensive line. Now you're seeing him make those decisions. What did he talk about last year? How, it didn't matter who 88 was. He's not going to force balls into him. He's going to pass it to whoever really is the open guy. And now what are you seeing? Week in and week out, he's forcing balls into Dez. And even if Dez is having 8 catches, 10 catches, they're short yardage gains, not really having much of an impact on the game.
It's not he just doesn't. Dez just doesn't look explosive at all right now.
No,
he's nursing a bum ankle, and he doesn't look good at all.
No, he's aged very quickly, but there's weapons there. He has a passing game, and by the way, their running game hasn't been terrible.
No, Alfred Morris isn't. He's not Alfred Morris from like 3-4 years ago, but he's not a bad back.
No, if I recall correctly, I think he had like 17 rushes for 97 or 100 yards against the Eagles.
The ball.
Which is, listen,
against the Eagles, that's really good.
That's really good
this season. Yeah,
that should be at least enough for you with their passing game to open up opportunities for you. And he just looks totally lost. He looks flustered. He's making poor passing decisions.
Would you say that he looks like a deer in headlights?
That's exactly what he looks like. It's just he doesn't look like the leader that I thought he was yet. I'm not saying, he's a young guy. I'm not saying that he can't be. But to me, he proved it this week. I said he was a 10 to 15 quarterback, and he is a top 10 to 15 quarterback. There's at least now 10 guys that are better than him, easily, without question. Right now,
yes. Here's a stat I saw earlier today that kind of boggled my mind. I had no clue it was like this. Des Bryant has 102 targets this season. He has 53 catches. PFF says that he's had just 60 catchable passes this season. That makes 42 catchable passes out of all the targets. So, like, something's not right there. Like, Dak is definitely forcing it into Des. Like, and to what you said, I totally forgot he said that last year. That he's not going to force it to Des. I don't care who 88 is. He definitely said that last year.
What happened to do like? And again, what happened to Beasley? Beasley was really good.
Yeah.
What happened to him, man? He hasn't done anything
He's
this
like
year.
lost. Yeah, it's like a guy who's lost out there on the field.
I don't know.
And I think Dak's making poor decisions. We talked about it.
Yeah.
Was it 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
Where was it Aikman or Romo? I think it was Aikman. Even
Aikman,
talked
I think you
about
said,
it.
yeah.
Where he's standing back, he drops back. All he had to do was take one little step up into the pocket, and he could have had the time to throw he took a sack instead.
Yeah.
And literally, I mean, he maybe had to step 2 feet up into the pocket, and he would have been able to extend that play, had more time to find the receivers down the field. But he's not making good decisions. He's panicking. He's looking to get rid of the football. He's not making good running decisions either, where he's not having that kind of that explosive rushing game that he has with his legs. It's just not working there. And now you're hearing that players are disgruntled with Jason Garrett.
Oh,
That came out today. And now it's going to be a question. Is he going to be on the chopping block? You still have – we talk about it week in and out, but you still have Jerry being Jerry.
I was going to say, I'm going to say no, he's not going to be in the chopping block because he's the perfect puppet for Jerry Jones.
Well, there's always a plot line or some kind of a headline for Jerry Jones every week. And it's not a good year for Cowboys fans, guys.
Boo.
Sorry, not
boo.
sorry, not
Too bad.
sorry.
Too bad.
To your point, Chrome, and talking about Cowboys fans kind of waving the white flag, I've seen it because I have seen that absolutely. I've seen both sides of the spectrum to where, to your point, to where they've almost not given up on the whole Carson Wentz Dak Prescott thing, but just given up on Dak Prescott.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
calling Tony.
They're calling for Tony. I saw it too.
Like, we're doing this now. Like, they're calling for a broadcaster that doesn't have a back. Like, do we forget he does not have a back?
He's a golfer. He's a golfer / broadcaster now. He's not a.
But
The
what
best
this does
broadcaster.
do, what this does do is it now has made Cowboys fans appreciate what they did have with Tony. I will say this, and I probably will get heat for it. I'll never say Tony couldn't win big games. He couldn't win big playoff games, but he won big games for them late in December when they needed to clinch a playoff.
Quarterback,
He was a
man.
good
He's a
quarterback.
very
good
underrated quarterback. And in hindsight, you look back at it now, and it's like he doesn't get the credit, especially in our
That's
area.
what I know. Like, there's a lot because there still is a contingent of Cowboys fans who will staunchly defend Dak, but the problem is a lot of those people weren't defending Tony Romo. They were ready to throw Tony Romo under the bus. If Tony Romo had games like Dak had just had, that would not have been pretty.
Remember? I brought up what
Tony
Ellie
Romo had
Harrison
less
Yeah.
negative games or better productive games in this, and he heard a lot more flack for
Yeah.
it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what Elliot Harrison said. And I brought it up because it's totally true. It's totally true. People are giving – the Cowboys fans are just giving Dak a pass because they want him to be the guy so bad. They want him to be better than Wentz so bad, but it's just not there. It's not. And I'm even someone who said Dak is a top 10 QB right now going into the season. Yeah. I even said that. But I even look stupid. Like saying that now because he looks so bad. I didn't think he could look as horrible as he has. Even with Tyron Smith. Like back there. Like how ironic too was it that the touchdown run that Dak had got called back because Tyron Smith held.
Yeah.
It really shows as well the difference between a first-round pick and a fourth-round pick. Like I was going to say everyone wants to say like, oh, well, every team made a mistake on passing on Dak Prescott. It's like, okay, well now we see when everything is not going perfect for him. He's a fourth-rounder. I'm sorry.
And you're right. And I heard somebody, I wish I remember who it was, but somebody else said that the other day to me too. And they said, all this is showing why one is a first-round pick and one's a fourth-round pick.
Yeah,
great point.
Here's my favorite thing, too. So a lot of people like to say, oh, yeah. They made him. So many teams messed up and they passed on Dak. You know who almost did pass on Dak? The Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
They tried so hard to get Paxton Lynch. And here's the thing. I actually really like Paxton Lynch, but, man, he looks really bad.
Yeah.
And if that trade goes through, what's the conversation like? And if Dak Prescott goes somewhere else, he probably isn't starting right away. He's probably a backup or a third stringer. So it's weird how things kind of work out, and it's just so funny to hear like people say, because I've heard a lot of people say that, like, oh man, the league missed on Dak Prescott. No, the Cowboys almost missed on Dak Prescott. Like, it's just a silly thing to say.
And I was reading on Twitter the other day after that people want to still call it like a forgetful performance for Dak Prescott. It's like just call it a bad performance. And the guy was trying to say that, Dak Prescott hasn't really gotten an opportunity to prove himself after that bad game in Atlanta. And I'm thinking to myself, it was like the next game against a division rival. Like, for example, if Dak Prescott came out and just had a good game, didn't have to win, but just showed that he was able to do it on his own, you know how much momentum he would have had?
Absolutely. I said the same thing. I agree.
He had his worst game. So it just shows, like, okay, everything's there for you, man. Show you are that guy, and he hasn't done it.
It's 3 games in a row now. You see no resiliency. I don't know if he's going to come out of the funk this year. But it just goes to show you, like last year, all the dominoes fell into place for him.
Yep.
And what it shows me is all the weapons that he still has this year. Cole Beasley, like you said, is a prime example of a guy that is just non-existent on the field.
He killed the Eagles, man. He killed the Eagles for years, and he didn't do anything.
And there's no reason for him to be non-existent. Yet, this is what you see from Dak. Now, when I look back at Carson last year, not everything was perfect. And he had a few weapons. He had Darren Sproles and Zach Ertz. But, I mean, he had the other version of Nelson Aguilar. He had Jordan Matthews, who had rocks for hands. I mean, there was a lot of things that weren't working out for him. Yeah. But I saw the toughness and the leadership still going out there and creating plays with his legs. How many games did they lose last year by within 10 points or less? I mean, he kept them in games that they should have never been in.
The only game that they really just got destroyed, and it was just the team just didn't show up, was the Cincinnati game. They just looked bad, and Carson didn't have a good game either. The whole team just played bad. But the rest of that, like you said, every other game they were in. They were at least because even like the Seattle game, they were clearly outclassed by Seattle in that game last year. But they hung tough, and Carson Wentz hung tough, even though he didn't have his best game. So that's, and like you said with like Dak right now, I'm just not seeing that same thing. I'm just not seeing the same battle like that you saw Wentz put up last year.
Exactly, and it goes to just the eye test. You have to look at the eye test, and I'm not someone who just screams, okay, just look with your eyes and that's it. I'm a proponent of both. Like, you look at the numbers and watch with your eyes. Take everything into account. And last year when we all watched Wentz, we saw, even though the team wasn't good, to Paulie's point, we saw something there. Like it wasn't the numbers that sold us. It was the intangibles. Well, we saw the toughness, the leadership. You really, really don't see that with Dak, and it's something that I wanted Dak to answer. Like weeks ago when Zeke was suspended, what did I say? I didn't say, oh, Dak is definitely going to be bad. I said, Dak is it's prove it time. I said it's time for Dak to go out and prove it and prove us wrong. Show us what he has. And to my shock, he's looked even worse than he has. Like there's no moxie there where he's able to carry and make his weapons better. But last year, you can tell that Wentz did that. You know, Dorial Green Beckham, are you kidding me? Like, he's not even in the league anymore. I
almost forgot about it.
Yeah, like he
was
was making Dorial Green Beckham look okay at times. Like, and that's a monumental like improvement from what his talent level really is.
That's so sad. I just remember that trade going down. And I was among the people who thought, man, this is a good move. Like,
I thought it was a great move.
This kid was a second-round pick.
He had a
decent rookie year.
And all he gave up was Dennis Kelly for him.
Kelly.
Which, in retrospect, it's a fine trade. Like, it was a fine gamble to take. But, man, he just really sucked. He was really bad. And he just didn't care.
He didn't care.
It's so funny, too, when people bring up the whole Carson versus Dak thing. And now everyone's new thing, I guess on the Dallas Cowboys side, or just people who just don't watch football, it's that, Carson has much better weapons. And I have to break it down for every time. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, Nelson Aguilar, everyone was calling a bust, and his career was saved. Zach Ertz is a guy that everyone said, he didn't live up to the potential. And I'm sorry, Alshon Jeffrey was considered a guy that was a wide receiver with a back issue. Yeah. So I'm sorry.
Yeah. Or aided by PEDs. He was on. there's a reason why Alshon Jeffrey, they were able to sign him to a 1-year deal.
Yes.
He had to prove it. So it's not like he came in, and then even a guy like, because everybody on the offense is a weapon. So even a guy like LeGarrette Blount, who led the league in touchdowns last year, nobody wanted him. There's a reason why. He was a 30-year-old back coming off a 200-touch season.
Exactly.
Like, there was no sure things coming into the season as far as what Carson Wentz was going to have surrounding it.
Exactly. And the one player who was a reliable weapon the past 2 years, Darren Sproles, was out starting week 3. Like, he was the one weapon that last year Carson Wentz could count on to make a play.
He was their best running back.
He was the best running back. He was the best. You could argue he was the best wide receiver last year too.
True.
And then he goes down week 3, so you don't even have anything from last year to carry over. You're building. He was building this year with new weapons. All right, and I will say that Aguilar, and I'm sure everyone else will too, Aguilar is a different player. He goes from 17 to 13. It's symbolic because he's a new person. He's a new wide receiver. So it's not the same. Like, you have no continuity with any of the weapons except for Sproles. So he's out. You're building with new weapons.
Yeah, but I think just to kind of bring it back to full circle, the thing I was excited about in this division, whether he was a 4th-round pick, a 1st-round, 2nd-round, Dak, people missed out on him, whatever. I enjoy... I like to be. I always want to be better than the Cowboys, but I like when the division is good, because there's nothing more exciting. I don't care what division in football you talk about. There's nothing more exciting than when the NFC East is good, and I liked the idea of, okay, you have these 2 quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins if he was staying, but I don't think he's going to stay with Washington. Whoever,
maybe now. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be.
Shanahan's got Garoppolo.
Whoever the next heir apparent is going to be in New York, I'm sure they're going to go out and get a quarterback probably this year.
You don't think it's going to be Geno Smith?
Oh, God. But I think, I was excited to see kind of like this is now the next generation of, great quarterbacks leading the teams in the division. And that excited me. And now I look and what I'm seeing, I'm not so sure I'm sure that we're going to have a great quarterback who's going to continue to lead this team. But I'm not so sure that you're going to see that. And again, I mean, I'm not terribly sorry about that, but as far as the excitement that it did bring to me to know that, like, thinking year in and year out, we're going to see these 2 young kids kind of come up together and always have that comparison. It just makes things that much better. It's a better storyline.
Yeah. It's just
not
funny.
Going to be like that now.
I remember RG3's rookie year, and I remember all of us thinking, man, he's going to be a problem for the Eagles for a long time. Nope, not so much.
That flamed out.
But like, it happens. It's crazy. Like, and like, to your point, there would be no sane, rational football fan that would tell you that they get that feeling at all about Carson Wentz. Like, Carson Wentz is going to be a very good quarterback for a very long time, and there's like you said, there's no team in the NFC East that can really say that right now, because everything else is really uncertain. Mm-hmm. And like, for the Giants, I don't like Davis Webb at all. I don't think I don't even get that draft pick. Well, again, why you wouldn't take a flyer on an offensive lineman at that point in the draft, I don't get it at all. And now, like, it didn't make any sense.
It's so funny, too, that you bring up RG3, because I think it was 2 days ago on First Take, they actually had, like, a segment headline saying Dak Prescott, new RG3, which is hilarious to me. Which is hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what's First Take? No, I'm just kidding.
For a second, I was like, what? No, but it is. You know what? There's a conversation that could be brewing up for that to be, a topic.
I will say this.
I don't know if he's. I don't quite put him on RG3.
Yeah, because I'm going to say that. But I think mentally, I think Dak is definitely much stronger.
See, I don't know that because I'm not saying it.
I do. I'll say it. I think that Dak is more mentally suited.
Let's see how he bounces back next year without that little adversity. Now he's going to have negative. Like a negative blanket that's been over him. He has to go out and prove himself next year.
So I'm going to say this. I feel like
he had no expectations last year.
Sure.
This year coming in, it was like everything was just handed to him. Now he has to come back after an off season. He has to come in and now prove himself why he is the quarterback that everybody tries to make him out to be. Or just in general, is he that quarterback? Now that question marks, he's never had those question marks.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say this.
This is the first time.
He was great last year. This year he's been bad. So where is he? He's probably somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
he's probably an okay quarterback.
Yeah, he's a 10 to 15 quarterback.
Which if you have
You take an above-average quarterback.
Oh,
He's
for
definitely
sure.
above average.
For sure. So that's what I'm saying. So I think he bounces back from this. What he's going through right now, I think he bounces back from. I don't know that he's ever going to be an elite quarterback, but I think he's at least a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL.
Like Dante Culpepper pre-knee injury.
Oh man, but Dante Culpepper was actually
Culpepper
really
was
good
really
pre-injury.
good.
He was very good before the injury.
He was like
Really good.
really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
To your point, though, Chrome, I completely agree with you. The only Dak we've seen in the NFL up until 3-4 weeks ago is a winner, is a guy that hasn't had to face adversity, where everything's going right. So he's always going to come across as a great leader, a great, human being in the locker room, which I'm not saying he isn't. No one is. But it'll be interesting to your point, now that he is losing and it's all being put on him and there's a little bit more pressure now, it's going to be interesting. Is that going to stand true, or is it going to flip the switch a little bit?
Yeah, and so I think it's going to be a really good off-season conversation to have too. By the way, of what kind of Dak we're going to see.
Sure,
we're definitely going to be following that. I do want to jump on Facebook a little bit. Go ahead.
Just one last thing, as far as we all know, I'm a big draft nerd and I follow college football. If you recall, Dak was unbelievable early on in Mississippi State, like really, really good. And then after that, he was just like solid. Like he wasn't great, he was solid. So like the kind of like if he would have had the year he had his first year as a starter as a senior, he probably would have been a first-round pick because he was that good. He was talked about for the Heisman, like he was that good. And so I mean, I just think that I think he's faced adversity. I don't know. I think in the long run, like I said, at worst, I think he's an average quarterback in the NFL. At worst.
Yeah. Louis Germonti, what's up, buddy? Charles Johnson, Dallas should change their name to the Zeke Elliott's or Zeke Elliott and the Cowboys. I agree with that. I've been saying that. It's the Dallas Zeke Elliott's. Let me see. Eli Manning sad about being second string, LOL. It won't hurt them any. The worst that can happen is they lose by 2 more points, which is going to transition us into our next conversation, which I said the same thing, by the way.
I think they could lose by a lot more points.
Probably. And then John Miller, last year we were still within a score of the games that we lost, which is true. We were within a score a lot.
Again, the only game was that Cincinnati game. They got their butt whooped.
Yeah,
and I think the Packers game too was.
It was close early, and I think Packers
got
pulled
away
away
from
late.
a little bit.
Yeah, I was at that game, so yeah.
Do you have anything on YouTube?
No, nothing really. Jimmy Chonga.
What the hell, guys? Get on YouTube.
Yeah,
Jimmy Chonga just saying fire Hacksaw chance at the Flyers game, which I think we were mentioning. And then David Roska mentioned that LeBron got ejected.
Yeah, first time in his career.
First for everything. First time for everything.
Well, I mean, it's a frustrating season so far for Cleveland. So
it won't be frustrating next year when he's wearing Sixers uniform.
Listen, I haven't ruled that out. I have not ruled that out. You never.
Oh my God!
Never say never.
I'm not saying anything.
I've
I'm
got
just
that
saying,
weird
oh my
feeling.
God.
I've got a weird
right?
feeling.
It's like a little tickle. I'm feeling it. But so we're gonna now transition into the news that came out this week. Obviously, today, Eli's 210 game starting consecutive streak is over. I think some of the things we talked about kind of, off camera, was that he just passed his brother. So now it's interesting. So what is your guys' opinion on that? Because to me, it's essentially the organization taking a dump in his helmet. I know what you're going to say. Hashtag
trust the process.
I get it. But at this point in the season, I don't really know that it's really worth that at that point. I mean, the guy's a franchise icon. I don't believe in shitting on your franchise icons personally.
Sure.
The
Eagles did it with Brian Dawkins, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah. As much as we talk about Eli, the guy's won 2 Super Bowls. He's played really well with them. And even if he's terrible for 3/4 of a game, in the last 2 to 4 minutes, he's managed
clutch.
the games really well. And I feel like, at this point, it's just such as that you sent me a picture of a dumpster fire. That organization is just such a dumpster fire at this point that it's very telling to kind of show that this is what now they're just going to kind of
how lucky
push this guy
did
to
the
the
Eagles
side.
get that McAdoo didn't leave the Giants
and
the Eagles got Doug Peterson. How lucky! I mean, no, but it's with Eli. It's this was going to happen. Like this was inevitable. It was inevitable that he was going to go. That they were going to have to sit him at some point. My thing is, man, why wouldn't you at the trade deadline Ship him off to like the Jaguars for a pick. I'm sure they would have loved. Tom Coughlin would have loved to have him there, and that would have been a perfect situation for him. He's handing the ball to Fournette 25 times a game, and then he's got a great defense on the other side, like he had with the Giants when he won his 2 Super Bowls. And it's like, hey, in the last 2 minutes, try to win us a game maybe here and there, like unlike Blake Bortles did on Sunday, losing which, by the way, I was so stoked for Blaine Gabbert. I'm sorry, but I really was at him beating the Jaguars. But yeah, I just think that this could have been done better. But to defend,
you're not even talking about they're not even playing Webb. They're starting Geno Smith.
To defend the Giants, I think it's the right move because. Yeah, man, just tank. Cause
trust the process. Trust the process.
If you get a top 3 pick, you're probably going to get either Darnold or Rosen. And I think if you have either Darnold or Rosen, you're in pretty good shape. So I think from that perspective, I get it. But overall, I just don't like the way it was done.
No, it just seems so kind of out of nowhere. Like it's not out of nowhere, but it is out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you're starting the young quarterback, whether
Davis
you
Webb,
agree
Davis
with it or
Webb
you
can't
don't.
play.
You can at least understand it. Okay, let's see what this kid has. But no, we're starting Geno Smith. Are you freaking kidding me?
Well, I mean, to your point, Paul, where you said, they're tanking. If you think, and I agree with you, Davis Webb is not the guy, why not play him? Because you're still tanking. And then 2, you're never going, if they're going to go out and get a quarterback next year, which we would all, for their sake, hope that they do, when are they going to get an opportunity to see who he is? Because if they don't use him now, they don't use him ever again. It's kind of like, why did you pick him?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? As a backup that won't have any experience.
See, that's the first problem. They should have never picked him. They should have taken a damn offensive lineman. But it's fine. For the Eagles' sake, it's good they didn't. Thank you, Jerry Reese, for not taking an offensive lineman at any point in the draft.
I agree.
Which makes no sense.
Yeah, I agree with you, Crow. I don't. If they're gonna go this route, why Geno Smith? It just doesn't.
I'm sorry. Every time I hear Geno Smith, I actually laugh. That's pretty bad.
That's just you guys have all summed it up. I really don't have much else to say because I agree totally with you guys. It doesn't make sense. It's a slap in his face. Like I don't.
It is a slap in the face. I agree with that.
I hate the Giants almost as much as I hate the Cowboys. I lived up in Central Jersey for 11 years after college, before moving back down here. So I had to deal with all those New York Giants fans. I had to deal with
during peak times too.
Dude, I worked at a sports collectibles store at the mall while the Giants won their Super Bowl.
Oh
in
yeah.
2007. You have any idea
I saw those shirts
how much?
rolling in,
Oh my god! And
that's piss poor decision making on your
hey
end,
man.
buddy. I'd have made sure those boxes got lost out of the back of the truck.
And the great thing is we had autograph signings, and I literally met every single Giants defensive player, at least their whole secondary. And I met Plaxico Burress, I met David Tyree, I met Eli Manning.
Did Plaxico have a gun on him?
He was pretty. I met Aaron Ross, which was
too soon.
I'll say
no, definitely not too soon.
My Aaron Ross story I'll save for after we go off air because it's crazy. It's pretty crazy.
Looking forward to that.
Pretty much like I hate Eli. I hate the Giants, but come on, like I've always said that even though I hate them, I respect them because I like how they run their organization. But this is just this is surprising to me.
You mean ran their organization?
Ran their organization.
I feel, and it's like you said, like it's like I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah.
Like you're watching in like the interviews, like holding back tears, like. I feel bad for the dude.
You really do.
On the Giants, I have 2, I guess you can call them conspiracy theories. Well, one, I don't think is now because, Paul, I agree with you. With the Jaguars and Eli, I was saying week 4, I'm like, trade him.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, get someone on the phone with this guy.
Yeah.
Because
how is that not even speculated about?
Yeah.
Like, it's insane to me.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because he's a guy that they would need, because obviously they're going into the playoffs. I think they would be a danger to a Steelers team if they had a quarterback that at least had experience. That's the only thing they need.
Yeah.
But I think it still could happen in the offseason.
Oh, for sure. Well, Tom Coughlin, man. They got that's an obvious connection right there.
And 2, with talking about the Giants, you guys talked about this earlier with this guy, Jim Schwartz. Because obviously McAdoo, you can't, if he's gone, Schwartz with that defense, or at least the defensive promise.
Oh, man.
That's a nightmare for me because I don't want Schwartz going up against us.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean,
Would that scheme fit though? Jacksonville. What do they play?
No, he's saying the Giants.
Oh, to the Giants. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
He'll go in there. He'll get his personnel in place. He'll make it fit.
Oh,
Nigel
okay,
Bradley will be the first one over there.
Yeah, exactly.
Put the
Please,
Giants
what are
jersey.
the
I don't want to
Giants
ruin
need?
that.
What are the
Please.
Giants need?
Nigel
A
Bradham
linebacker.
and Patrick Peterson will be
Lord,
playing for the
please.
Giants.
Robinson. Yeah, no, you're right.
Patrick
Absolutely.
Robinson will
There
be
you
playing
go.
for them next year.
Next
yeah.
thing, next thing you tell me,
Yep.
they'll be drafting Barkley. Please, just let's not talk about that.
No,
I don't
but,
wanna-
I mean,
That could
no.
happen. That could happen, Charles. And then they're gonna get the Jaguars' first round pick for Eli. Oh man. Oh no.
my thing with it is, and again, I don't believe that you shit on your franchise icons like that. I mean, I don't like the way the Dawkins thing went down, but to me, this is even worse than that. And really, it's more insulting to go to the guy and say, "Listen, we'll start you," but then you're coming out.
Oh,
and putting-
dude, I'm so glad he told them to
We'll
go
start you,
shove that.
and then we're gonna put Geno Smith in. Like,
I respect him
what
so
is-
much
like, where-
for telling him to go stick it.
where in their mind, as an organization, did they think that would be acceptable to go to him and present that idea? Like, that to me, that's when I would have taken my helmet off and threw it at him and said, "Get the F out of here."
See, that's what
Like,
someone said.
tell him to shove it
he
up their
should have
ass. Like,
when
that's
this
ridiculous.
when this meeting happened. When someone told him, "Hey, just so you know, you're not going to start," he should have said, "Wave me right now, and
Yep.
I'm going to go
Yeah.
and I'm going to go sign with the Jaguars right
Yeah.
now." Because that would have made sense. Or I'm going to go sign with the Cardinals right now. Like whatever. Like it would have made so much sense. But
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's a giant, and we all know that. But he was a great quarterback in this division for his time, and
yeah,
you can't.
I feel bad for the guy.
Can
I
never
do.
take it from him. So
Yeah.
I feel really bad for the guy.
Yeah.
But
We
I
got
thought he
some,
was gonna pop something in there.
YouTube comments. Edgar Venzer, you guys think Eli will be back by the Eagles game? No. He's permanently benched. Todd Womack again. We all know these next two games will show us what we're about. I think it wouldn't be that bad if it was Webb's starting, not Geno.
I think they're either way. It's not going to be pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
Can I just say, all right, so we'll just get into that. I mean, obviously the Rams beat the Saints this week, which was huge because it now gives us a cushion.
Oh,
So-
yeah. Thank God.
If we were to struggle through one of these games, I think the Rams game is going to be tougher than the Seahawks game, and we were to take a loss. We still have that cushion. We got divisional games coming up with the Giants. It's a lot different now that we don't have Eli to contend with, regardless. But and then we have Dallas to close out the season. I think the Giants are basically gifting us a win. Thank you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I do believe that these two games are going to be measuring sticks for us, but I think we've had measuring sticks throughout the season. And I think, again, it was huge for us to get that extra game cushion for that number one seed. Because I do think if we're going to get to the Super Bowl, we need to have that number one seed in home field advantage.
Yeah,
do.
because
Yeah.
you definitely want the Saints coming here, and you definitely want the Rams. You want them both coming here, absolutely, 100%. And it's, man, the Rams look really good. It's so hard because all these teams, the top four teams in the NFC all look very good. And like we talked about last week, they're all built to survive in the winter now too.
Well,
and they're all built for playoff football.
People
Yeah.
were counting the Rams out after their loss 2 weeks ago. They came back this week.
Don't sleep, man. Don't sleep. That defense is so good. And again, like they have Wade Phillips. Wade Phillips might be the greatest defensive coordinator ever.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of really talented players.
Who
That's a
was-
scary team.
Who was counting out the Rams after the loss? I
They
mean,
were-
I know I bumped them down past the Saints and the Vikings, but I never
They
counted
dropped
them
on
out.
but they dropped by
There are a
saying
lot
that, I'm
of people
saying a lot of
discounting
people were
Wow.
dropping them down and saying they
Wow.
didn't look as good as
if that's
people thought.
if that's true, that's pretty
there
foolish.
was there
'cause
was
they
a lot
are
of
good
there was
team.
there was a lot of they're coming
It's
back
because of the
down
Vikings.
to earth.
Yeah,
type
after
of
the Vikings, because
conversations.
the Vikings took it to them a little bit.
Oh yeah, but
The Viking- but then man, home field is a factor. Like
It is a factor. It's in
Obviously, the
Minnesota.
Vikings took it to the Rams in Minnesota. Now New Orleans had to go cross country to LA, and the Rams took care of them. Like it's just home
is
field
what it
advantage is a real thing. It's not. It's a real thing.
Exactly.
And like you said, that's why it's so important for the Eagles to get it, because you want Drew Brees to have to pass outside of the dome. And you want Jared Goff, you want the Rams to come to the other side of the country, to come to Philly to deal with a hostile
Exactly.
crowd. That's what you want.
I mean, look at our one loss. It came against the Chiefs in a close game in Kansas City.
Yeah, for
if
sure.
it had been in Philly, do any of us doubt that it could have been a very different
Man,
game?
they were such a different team.
Different
too, then.
team,
It's
but
so
I'm-
weird to think about.
even-
You know what I mean?
Yeah, even back then though, even again when the Chiefs were riding high and we were still kind of learning everything. If it had been in Philly, those interceptions, those turnovers
Could have been different.
Could
Yeah.
have been different.
Could have
So
been a different game for sure.
I agree with you. Home field is important, and getting this 2-game lead now on the next seeds or the next following teams below us for that number 1 seed is crucial, because like I still, matchup wise again, I still am scared of the Saints, but them in Philly, I'm not as scared. The Vikings though, can I just say that Case Keenum continues. I was doubting him because I didn't believe in him long term for a playoff run, but these past 2 weeks, man, I'm seeing a totally different quarterback than what we ever saw, and
Right.
he's making strides. Even these, I could even say from the beginning of the year, compared from the stretch he had in the first half of the season to even the stretch he's even had the past 2 or 3 weeks has been astronomical. Like, he's moving in the pocket like better than I've ever seen. He's moving better than I've seen a lot of quarterbacks do in this league right now. Like, in terms of moving in the pocket awareness, toughness. That one touchdown pass he had. Who was it to? I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Who was it to? But he stuck. Was it to Rudolph?
Not into Rudolph.
When he stuck in the pocket, stood in there, and delivered that dime, even though he had a defender right in front of his face.
Again, dude, coaching matters so much. Again, that one meme, or I think it was a quote that was so amazing, where it's Jared Goff whispering to Case Keenum, and it says, "Don't worry, Jeff Fisher can't hurt us anymore."
Yeah.
And it's just coaching makes such a difference, man. Like, look how, Seward, part of it is Jared Goff just got better from last year. But McVay's a really, really good coach.
Yeah.
And he's made Jared Goff into a real quarterback, and it's made him into a real team. And also, too, offensive lines. Both Rams and the Vikings went out and they said, what is the biggest thing we need to improve? Offensive line play. The Rams signed Whitworth, and they signed Sullivan. The Minnesota Vikings just basically went out and got themselves a brand new offensive line, and that's what needed to be done. This is how teams win. The Saints, what did the Saints do? They had Teron Armstead. They got Ramczyk. They drafted him. Again, the Giants probably should have drafted Ramczyk.
Yeah.
And so now, that's what good teams that are playoff teams, you win in the damn trenches. And that's something that your boy Andy Reid, for all his faults, that's one thing he always knew.
Yes.
That's how you win football games. That's how you win playoff football games was with offensive and defensive line play.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, except for this year, it's just not happening for him.
Well, Andy, that's Alex Smith. Ugh.
How's Kareem Hunt doing this year?
Oh,
I don't know. He's not getting enough touches.
Why would you bring it up?
I'll leave it at that. Don't worry. I'll leave it at that.
Oh no, the pain's just never going to heal from Charles with Andy Reid. That's just an open wound forever.
I love Andy Reid. It's just there are certain things that his tendencies that drive you nuts. It's pretty sure it's the same thing with all Eagles fans when it comes to Reid or even McNabb. We love them, we respect them, and we'll always appreciate them. But there's always those certain little things that would drive us nuts. And it's just ironic that Andy Reid is doing it now with Kareem Hunt, who I invested so much in. I have him on 2 of my fantasy teams, and driving me nuts not using him. But again, I won't go on that right now.
Yeah. Speaking of former Eagles coach, are we going to talk about Chip Kelly getting the job at UCLA?
I think it's a great hire for UCLA. I think Chip is obviously much more suited for the college game. Not to say that he can't come back. There's plenty of guys that went back to college and then came back to the pros. Pete Carroll, totally different coaches. But problem with Chip is that guy. He has a chip on his shoulder. His way, he has to prove that his way is the best way. And I think his way works in college.
Yes.
Hopefully he learns to adapt to changes in the game. Well, you wonder, too, if he spent a year, not even a year, whatever, season, most of a college football season as an analyst. He hung out with NFL players. He hung out with Joey Galloway and Jonathan Vilma, Booker McFarland. Maybe they imparted some stuff on him. Maybe he learned a thing or two. So, I mean, you never – I mean, but sometimes it takes it takes time away for – because you look at a guy like Chip Kelly, too, like – that was probably the longest he's gone without coaching anything in football since he started coaching.
Yeah. No,
so sometimes it takes that perspective. You need to take some time away. You need to gain that perspective of hey, okay, maybe there's a reason why I'm sitting at an ESPN desk and not on a sideline right now because I made mistakes. I mean, like you said, I definitely, for sure, he's going to have success at UCLA. There's no way he's
definitely
not.
going to build that program.
Yeah, and he's already got, he's already got tons of connections on the West Coast, I'm sure, with West Coast coaches from being in Oregon. So I'm sure he's got plenty of high school coaches that he knows, and probably knows a ton of programs and all that already. So he's gonna do well at UCLA. As far I still think he's a good coach, man. I think he can still coach an NFL team. I think would be a total disaster to make him a GM again. But I think he's a damn good coach. I really do.
I my thing with Chip Kelly has always been constant. I think he is a great mind, and to be an NFL coach, you have to be a good NFL coach. You do have to be a good mind, and he has that. He's really, really smart. That's never changed. It's never been a knock on him or anything. I've always said he's really smart. His concepts and his play designs and certain philosophies are really, really good. And sometimes he does think outside the box, which is something that Bill Belichick does. And I don't like to compare them. I don't want to put them on the same level or anything, obviously. But it's just saying that like he doesn't. What gravitated me to Chip Kelly when he was here was that he doesn't stick to the norms. He's not glued to the tradition of of certain things in football. He thinks outside of it. Okay, like why do we do this? Can we do it differently to our advantage? And that's why he's a great mind. The only thing in what you said, Chrome, the thing is that his ability to adjust just wasn't there. When things aren't going your way, are you able to change it up ever so slightly to make it go your way again? And that's the thing. And then, Paulie, what you said exactly, he's not a GM. He's obviously not a GM. So I think going back to college, I think he will be successful because you don't have certain things in college game compared to the pro game. And you can attest to that, Paulie, even more than I can. But just someone who just sparingly watches college football, your roster sizes are so much more vast on a college team, where you don't have to worry about the defense getting tired out or anything. Much more emphasis is placed on the coaching scheme and the players running it than it is in NFL. NFL is a little bit more emphasis on talent. The better talents are going to shine, whereas with college, scheme has just as much impact.
Culture beats scheme.
Culture beats scheme. So, and as a college coach, I do believe in Chip Kelly. I think it's going to be good for him.
Yeah.
If he'll ever be able to come back to the NFL, I don't know. Is that even in his agenda? Who knows? But I think that in order for him to be successful, the key thing, in order for him to be successful in the NFL one day again, he's going to have to learn how to adapt and not be so stubborn. And who knows if he ever will, but as he is now, he'll be good in college.
Chip Kelly did make one good move as a GM, or I should say not move. He did not trade the world for Marcus Mariota.
Yes.
Because that looks like that was brilliant to not do. Yes. Even though it looked like an obvious move to make, he didn't make it. No. And thank God for the Eagles, he did not.
Yes. Good stuff this week, guys. Charles, where are you at on Twitter since you
we just got one more. Jacob Bloss. What up, Jacob? I feel like we can take the Vikings if we get the number 1 seed and making Case Keenum pass a lot by shutting down the running game, which is a good point.
Yeah,
a home game against them is going to be a big deal. And Tom Ambrose, nice work, dude. I don't know who he's talking to.
That is actually my uncle who's, hey, thanks, Uncle Tom. I appreciate
Uncle
that.
Tom, you're my man.
Uncle Tom, hey.
So we'll leave it at Uncle Tom. Again, where are you? Your Twitter, since you already put yourself over once.
Oh, yeah. Follow me on Twitter, guys. Chux Maranan, CHUXMARANAN. Follow my blog. I have my breakdown of Ajayi for this week up already. It's chuxmaranan.blogspot.com.
Paulie?
All right, I'm going to plug my stuff too, yeah. So, yeah, on Twitter, it's just at Paul Hudrick, HUDRICK. And, you can read some of my stuff here and there on NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com.
There you go, yeah. And you could find me on Twitter at Heel Chrome, HEEL, like the wrestling heel. That's me. But, yeah, good stuff this week, guys. We'll check you next week. Hopefully we have another win to celebrate this week.
Guys, push it. Burn Byron. I want to see it everywhere.
I do like that. I'm a fan
Burn
of that.
Byron. Let's go.
Yeah, so from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios, BMW of AC.com, Gibson Mayer LLC, Certified Public Accountant, GibsonMayer.com, StreamSmart.com. Thanks, Scanzano Sports, for the Twitter, sponsoring the Twitter question. Again, guys, we'll check you next week. Enjoy the game and enjoy all the awesome content here on A2B this week.
Go Birds. Burn Byron.
Do it.